Most AI agents forget everything after every conversation, which means if you are an AI agency running 20 discovery calls a week, you're manually summarizing every conversation, hoping you don't miss the part where they mention budget. Now, here's how you can build an agent that actually learns from your discovery calls. So by the end of this video, you're going to have a working learning loop using the OpenAI's Agent Builder. And best of all, I'm going to give you this template absolutely for free. The first link in the description. Let's get some coffee and deploy to production. By the way, if you are an AI agency or a technical startup founder building production AI systems, make sure you subscribe to this channel. We're dropping new content just like this every single week on production AI that actually works. Turn on the notification bell so you don't miss it. So you want to make sure your agency gets the technical depth it deserves. All right, so let's get into this. So the problem we are solving today, you are running 20 discovery calls per week. You want to capture what matters. So you have a 60-minute discovery call, but the client asking about AI for customer service is buried in minute 37 or minute 49, 45, who knows? They mentioned something about building AI internally, but it failed. And that's a completely different buyer than somebody who's asking about the price. Now, you wrote down notes during the call, and then you spent another 30 minutes or so extracting the points, technical requirements, budget signals, pain points, previous AI attempts, decision timeline, etc. What that means, if you're running 20 calls per week, that's 10 hours per week just on summaries. And you can imagine yourself and your team spending that 10 hours on high leverage tasks rather than summarizing calls every time a new call comes in. Now, the real problem is that the notes don't capture patterns. You can see the 80% of clients who say, we tried AI internally, we need a different pitch than exploring AI for the first time. And that's exactly where learning loops comes in. We need agents that learn from calls and not just summarizes them. And that is the key question. What if your agent could learn from every discovery call? Every discovery call process is going to feed into our data learning loop. Every new transcript or data that comes into our pipeline, it feeds our AI processes to get better and better. So we go through something called a medallion approach. So we go from bronze level data to silver level data and eventually extract the gold. And the gold could mean different for different agencies or different buyers, etc. So you need to extract that gold. So what happens after 20 calls, the agent knows which question predicts high value deals, what tried internally really means, budget concerns, which tech requirements are deal breakers. The key insight here is that LLMs are probabilistic. You need architecture that also accounts for uncertainty. Now, the deeper question now becomes, how does it learn? Not just summarizing, how does it learn the actual patterns? That's a good question, my friend, because every call is going to be different. So we're going to walk you through a couple of scenarios and how the agent is going to process these calls. So the call one, agent processes the transcripts, extracts the buyer type, education first, the tech maturity, timeline, right? This is encoded into different categories for us to go back to later to understand how to deal with this client. And it stores it as a data point. Now, let's say there's another scenario where it's a burned buyer, right? So agent processes the transcript. It recognizes that it's different from call one. Okay, education first, but needs guidance because this buyer is burnt before from trying other AI agencies, and they need a little bit more guidance and handholding. So tags high intent, priority urgent, needs trust, not education, right? So these tags are automatically tagged because they've identified that this is a different kind of buyer. So what is the pattern recognition here is that after 20 calls you try internally, you'll produce high intent signals. Sales team prioritizes these leads, and that's compounding intelligence. Now that you understand the process, we're going to actually build this up using Agent Builder. Now, Agent Builder is a very recent innovation from OpenAI. A lot of people are having debates about, is this the N8N killer or this and that? But it's a completely different game that we are playing with Agent Builder. Agent Builder is about producing production AI agents and solving problems like this where it needs a learning loop, right? So we are going to actually set up this system here, and we're going to walk you through the system. The whole code and the template is going to be available for you, including the prompts and the transcripts, so you can actually try it out yourself. So link is going to be in the description. Let me know what you think, and if you want more hands-on guidance and if you want to deploy this for your team, make sure you book a free 30-minute strategy call so we can set this up for you. So I'm in Agent Builder. There's a lot of things here, okay, and we're gonna walk you through the whole demo, don't worry. But if you need a really basic, simple starter guide into Agent Builder or building your first production AI agent, I'm gonna link this video right here so you can watch it in your own time and start building and deploying real production AI agents. So at the core, it's going to be pretty much a router right here. It classifies the intent of the user who's using the system, right? So if you are just asking about standard FAQ questions, it's going to classify and route it to the FAQ agent. If you're asking about improving the discovery call process, it's going to route to that process. And what we set up right here is a loop. It's a while loop. It's obviously, there's a lot of coding principles that are baked into the system. So a lot of non-coders can actually design the menu before setting up to the developers to cook it up for complete end-to-end application. But as you can see, it's really intuitive because you have a while loop and you can set up the number of times the agent can go into these loops to improve the prompt, right? So if your baseline prompt is very basic, you can go in and start doing a few rounds of quality checks. Pain point grader is going to extract the technical requirements. If it passes, then it's good. And it's going to have human in the loop for the final review. So you can see that it's classifying to a FAQ and it's providing the response from the FAQ agent. Now that's not what we need. We need to improve the discovery call process. We have a couple of scripts ready and you're going to get these scripts also with the template package. So we have the good transcripts and the bad transcripts, and you can feed as many transcripts as you want. The more, the better in the world of data and knowledge engineering, right? So when we have more data points, we can actually go through these different layers of data quality enhancement, right? So let's provide a good transcript so you can actually see what happens when a transcript is good, when the sales process is actually really good. So we go ahead and paste this transcript and say, hey, tell me how I did with the sales call, all right? Whether it's a sales call or a discovery call, it doesn't matter, but you can change the prompt for whatever use case, right? Now look at this. It's classifying discovery call improvement process, and then it's extracting the pain points. This is exactly the task for the pain point grader. Then it goes into the quality agent, and you'll notice the quality agent gave some scores. This output is going to be important for us to not only provide a deterministic check, but also later pass it to the human for final approval. So human, when they get the final results, they're actually getting the past results. If it failed, then it's going to go through a loop where the agent will try to improve the prompt. Perhaps there was something wrong with the prompt, perhaps it's not good. They'll try to improve the process a little bit more to make sure it passes, right? So it takes away a lot of time away from these manual tasks that you or your team is doing, right? So the human approves it. So as you can see, it goes back to the FAQ agent to deliver the final response. And it says, you did very well. Here's a breakdown of what you did very well. Blah, pain points, attempts, budget, decision process, etc. Score 9.5 out of 10. So this is a case where the process is really good. So it doesn't need to go back and recheck if the prompts are good or bad, etc. But if there was a case where the process is good, but our prompt is bad, like the baseline prompt, then it will need to go through different loops to make sure that the prompt is hyper optimized. So by default, our baseline prompt is very basic. Your summarization assistant, summarize discovery calls, but it's a very basic prompt. The goal is to optimize the prompt even more using the meta prompt improver agent. This only works when the quality agent says, look, this process doesn't match our quality requirement check. So the prompt improver agent is going to then kick off the prompt optimization process. So I'm going to give you an example now with the bad transcripts. Okay. Now what you expect to see, the output is the score getting slightly better and better with each run. This is bound to fail, so we're going to try it out. So we're going to do a new chat, then put in the transcript and say, how did I do? So it's now classifying that's a discovery call improvement process. So it's going to go through the pain point grader. It's going to go to the quality agent. Now let's see the score. It's 0.4, which is not bad, not good, but it's going to go through the meta prompt improver agent to improve the prompt, right? So as you can see, the meta prompt improver agent is working on improving the prompt slightly more so it can iterate on the next one with a better prompt, right? So it's going through the loops. Now we set it up to do 3 times. It's going to go to 3 rounds of prompt improvement. By the 3rd round, we're going to see better results. I believe this is the 3rd time. Now you can set up these loops as many times as you want. It's better when you're working with Code Agent SDK because what I found was that with Agent SDK, you can quickly iterate with Claude Code. This has a little bit of visual obstruction here because you have to manually put in some prompts, manually change up the workflows, but this is actually good to design the initial menu, export the code, and then work with Agent SDK for the final runs of iteration. So let's see. Oh, it actually went through, finished with the final prompt. So this is the final prompt for the improver agent. So as you can see, this is more detailed. It has more depth to it than our baseline prompt. And this prompt ensures that vague, missing, or generic information is transparently labeled and all meaningful data is surfaced for an actionable, auditable follow-up. So now you can click on approve. So you then approved it. So basically the last round of human approval, what allows us to do is give some human input as well, because we always want to have human in the loop. Complete autonomous system just defeats the whole point of augmentation. That's what we're trying to do with production AI system. We want to bring back humans in the loop and not replace them. So having this setup allows us to provide that final round of sign off. Now, if this is interesting to you and if you want to go deeper into building production AI systems, then join our high-ticket AI builder community where we're going to help you dive deeper into Agent SDK, self-evolving agents, as well as ChatGPT apps. There's a lot of new things coming out and you want to be at the forefront of these tech innovations. Now, the great part to this is that you can just publish this into production, just like that. Publish, it's production, you can share with your team, everything is good to go. I made another video on the difference between OpenAI hosted versus self-hosting. So make sure you understand the difference between these two, the limitations. But this is great for you to start. Understand that speed and collaboration is what Agent Builder unlocks. So you get to have that. So if you are an agency owner watching this thinking, hey, I'm not a developer, there you go. Or if you're a dev thinking, hey, I build the demo, but the production breaks, this is the conversation I have every week. So this is exactly the pattern that you need so that your agent continuously evolves with every iteration. It's not about the agent, it's more about the data and the insights that are generated by the agent. So you want to go through these data quality enhancements. We call it the medallion approach. Now I'm going to show you how to create this step by step. You're going to go to Agent Builder, platform.openai.com/agent builder. You're going to create a new workflow. When you create a new workflow, you're going to see the start and my agent feature. So this is going to be the basic setup. You have your first agent, you can name your agent, etc. We're going to actually delete this and we're going to start with the classification. So we're going to choose classify, and the classify is going to help us route for different tasks. So the first routing is FAQ and the other route is going to be for the discovery call summarizing process. Spell this wrong. All right. Then you can add examples to help the router system understands when to route for FAQ, when to route for discovery call. You can provide an example. User wants to do discovery call improvement, and you can select discovery call process. Then you're going to add another example here. User wants general help or understanding of the results. Then you're going to use FAQ. So the router agent or the router system is set up. So the FAQ agent is the most easy to set up here. So we just click on agent and we're going to call it FAQ agent. So in the free template that I'm going to give you, you're going to have this prompt. We're just going to copy this prompt, go back to Agent Builder. So we're going to paste this prompt here. Now you can test this agent out. Hey, what do you do? So you'll notice it goes to classification and then it classifies and sends it to the FAQ agent to basically respond. Strategy consulting, etc. All right, so we have set up the FAQ agent. Now we're going to choose something called state, right? We're going to drag the state box right here and then we're going to attach it with the discovery call summarization process. So in the state, we're going to assign certain values into variables, meaning we're going to put information into specific buckets. And this bucket is going to evolve. The information is going to change as the agent is doing its task. It's going to have different states, right? So the retrieve count, the approved, and the current prompt. So we're going to start with the prompt. So go ahead and copy the prompt. And we are going to actually add variables. So we'll say current prompt. Make sure it's string. Then we're going to paste the default value, current prompt. We can also paste it here to assign it, just like that. Then we're going to add another variable. We're going to add another variable. We're going to call it retry count. And the default value is going to be 0. Make sure it's number, save. You can assign value 0, just in case. We're going to add another variable. This is the last one. And we're going to call it passed. And the default value is no. So this is going to store whether the overall qualification checks have passed or not. So initially it's going to be no, but when it passes, it's going to turn into yes. So right now it's going to be stored as no, just like that. So we've configured the state, the initial state for the agent. All right, so now we're going to set up something called a while loop. And the while loop allows the agent to loop through a task until a condition is met. So the while loop is right here. So this is actually pretty interesting because generally these while loops or these complex loops are only found in code. When you have it in a visual builder, this unlocks a lot of production-ready systems. But the problem is you have to manually code it up. So it might take a little bit of time to design it. But once you design the first one, you can export the code into Agent SDK, and then you can keep on working on it. Building it up unlocks more complex orchestration patterns. But this gives us a good starting point. So we're going to connect the state with the while loop. Now, inside this while loop, we're going to add a couple of agentic processes, right? So we're going to add an agent here, automatically connects here. Then we add another agent here, and then we add another one. 3 agents. So the first agent is going to be the summarizer agent. The second agent is going to be pain point grader, and the third agent is going to be quality agent. So make sure you connect the agents together, just like that. Connect. You go ahead and delete this connection. Okay, you're going to connect one agent with another agent. So the output of one agent transfers to the other agent. We are going to go ahead and copy the prompts for each of these agents from our Notion template. Our summarizer agent prompt is pretty basic. Our summarizer agent prompt is actually pretty basic. It's because we want to improve the prompt, right? So the baseline prompt has to be really weak. And what's going to happen is the meta prompt engine is going to go through different loops and improve the prompt, right? So if we want to optimize the prompt, this is a good way to test it out. Then we're going to copy the prompt for the pain point grader. Just plug it in here. Make sure the output is text and the GPT model is 4.1 for both of them. Then we're going to copy the prompt for the quality agent, paste it here. And for this one, make sure the output is JSON format, all right? It's going to provide some scores, and we want the scores to be in a certain format. And we actually have a JSON schema that you can also plug in to the schema box here and go to advanced. You can plug in the schema. Then you can also see it in this format. So it makes sense how the data is stored. So the next step, we're going to add an if-else block and connect it to the last agent. Let's stretch out the while loop box a little bit more. If-else. And we'll say overall passed. And then this is where you set a condition. We're going to type this, input overall passed is true. So this is going to come from the quality agent, response format, and the overall pass, right? This one, when this is true, it's going to kick off this overall pass condition. These conditions are really important for you to learn. If you've been following this far, this is great, but if you feel stuck, then I encourage you to check out the self-evolving agent module where I go into more detail about these while loops and all the features of the agent builder. So make sure you check it out. Link is going to be in the description. We're going to copy this condition. We're going to go ahead and paste it here. This is going to come from the quality agent. So quality agent has the output here. When the quality agent does the quality check, it's going to give scores, and then it's going to evaluate with the final score. So if you look at the response schema, you'll notice that they have an average score and then overall pass. So overall passed is going to look at the average scores. I believe 0.7 is a passing score. So when it sees the 0.7 score, it's going to mark this true. Okay, so overall pass is going to be true. Boolean is like true or false. So when it's true, that means it has passed. It's going to go to the next step and it's going to check, oh, okay, this has passed. And if it has passed, we are going to set the state, select the variable passed, assign it yes. Okay, so now that we build this up, let's go test it so far to see if everything is working in order. We're going to take one of the good transcripts to test it out. So we're going to press here, okay, and then also make sure you close this out, this loop, dismiss, tie it back here, and we are going to actually connect this last node with the FAQ agent node. So once we've connected with the FAQ agent, we're also going to add some context. There's two pieces of context we're going to add: input as text. So the input from the last workflow is going to drive to the FAQ agent, and then it's also going to get the variable state pass. So these two things are going to be sent to the FAQ agent, so the FAQ agent can provide the response back to the end user. Okay, and the last thing we need to configure here is the while loop expression. So we're going to go ahead and copy this while loop expression here and then go back to Agent Builder. We're going to click on the while loop box right here on the top, paste in the condition, just like that. So in simple words, the while loop basically is saying that we're going to do this loop 3 times, right? If it's less than 3, keep going. And if the state is passed, no, keep going. So when it's state passed no, that means the quality agent confirmed that either the transcript or the prompts were not good enough to get a passing score, so it's going to be no. So it's going to keep on looping when either of these conditions are met. Okay, so let's go ahead and run this and test it out. So we're going to use a good transcript to test this. We're going to plug this in. Help me improve the prompt. And you're going to see this going through the classification process. It's going to discovery call summarizer agent. Summarizer agent is going to summarize. The prompt grader agent is going to find the pain points, the budget timelines, technical requirements. Then the quality agent is providing a score. Then you can see the condition, overall passed. It's going to set the state that overall is passed. And it's going to come back to the FAQ agent to give the final response. So the FAQ agent just summarizes all that information and provides a nice compact response. These nodes have lit up. As you can see, it went from gray to colored. That means it actually passed these conditions and it went through the state. So because it passed, the set state became yes, and that means the while loop condition wasn't met and it was able to exit out of the loop and then respond to the FAQ agent. If this is a little bit complicated, I know the while loop. These are all coding terms. We generally use it in our agent SDK builds. And if you want to dive deeper into this kind of stuff, I encourage you to check out our self-evolving agent module and also the agent SDK course. This is going to give you more hands-on practical examples and also give you understanding about the while loops, the for loops, and also all the features of the agent SDK in more detail. Link is going to be in the description. This Notion template is also going to be given to you for free, so you can actually start playing with it. And if you get stuck, just send us a message and we'll figure it out together, all right? Okay, let's build this up a little bit more. Let's remove this line for now so it's not connected. And we're going to connect it with a final human approval. So we want a human to sign off before the summary. So let's go ahead and do user approval. We're going to connect it here, user approval. Then we're going to add another agent here that's going to summarize the results from the human. It's really essential to have the human in the loop, just in case some of the outputs from the agents or the meta prompt engine, etc., not good for the final product, then the human can step in and add their touch to it. The final summary agent is just going to wrap up all the learnings and give it back to the user. So we're going to put the instructions here, final summarizer agent. So the final agent is going to be very helpful because it's going to take the human input as well as the inputs from all the other agents, the quality agent, the meta prompt engine, etc., and then give the final polished up product or output for the user, right? So we're going to copy this prompt, go back to our agent, we're going to paste this, and we're going to connect the nodes together, just like that. Done. And we're actually then going to connect to the FAQ agent. Okay, this gives a little bit more polish to the final results. This is the last agent here. This is the agent that's going to help us improve the prompt. It's going to be the meta prompt improver agent. It's going to take the baseline prompt and it's going to keep on improving and iterating to make sure the baseline prompt is better and better with each round of iteration. Okay, so we're going to copy the prompt for the meta prompt engine. Let's go ahead and paste it right here. And we need to set the output, make sure the output is text, Last thing you need to connect here is state. Set the state to retrieve count plus 1. So basically what that means is it's going to add one more number to the last number until it hits the maximum number. So in this case, the maximum number of iterations is going to be 3 because we've set up in the while loop to do 3 rounds of iterations. Now you can set it up to do more, like 10 rounds of looping. And again, the more looping you do, the more token cost. So you have to be careful how you set it up. But in this case, this is essential. So every time it completes this node, it's going to add one more number to the retrieve count. And it's also going to store the output into the current prompt. So basically, we're capturing the essential new details in the polished prompt every time. And thus, we have created our entire workflow. Again, the Notion template for this workflow is in the description below. Go check it out absolutely for free. And also share with your friends who are also stuck building production AI systems. Let's get better. Let's start building real agents. It's time. So whatever your bottleneck is, you're stuck between demo and production. And no pitch, we're just trying to figure out where you're actually at. What's blocking you? Maybe it's the architecture. Maybe it's integration. Maybe you just need someone who built it 20 times before to look at your system and tell you exactly what's broken. So let's get you production ready ASAP. If you're a builder and you want to go deeper into this stuff, production AI patterns, temporal graphs, I run a community, the High Ticket AI Builders Club, where you can learn about rapid prototyping, evolving agents, Agent SDK, and the new tools that are coming out like ChatGPT apps and Claude Skills. So I know it could be overwhelming and it's hard to do it alone. If you want a community of like-minded, supportive AI builders and agency owners, this might be for you. Link will be in the description. So now you have a little bit of idea what does production AI look like business. So discovery calls is where you either win or lose. Most agencies treat them like one-off conversations. Truth is, they're not conversation, they're data, okay? Every single sentence, every single word captured and extracted by AI is meaningful data you can use to get better and improve your process. So after 50 calls, you know which questions predict 50K deals, budget approved versus exploring options, real objections versus stalling tactics, which industries close faster. So competitive intelligence, that is your moat. Your competitor, 6 months of learning loops, pattern recognition, predictive intelligence, and your manual summaries, no patterns, starting from scratch every single call. If you and your team is struggling with production AI systems and creating learning loops, this will be very helpful for you, my friend. Take your business to the next level. And if you're here just to learn, that's also cool. We're dropping new videos every week on production AI systems. So make sure you watch these videos in my channel. These are some of my top performing videos. I also break down how you can build and deploy your first production AI agent in this video. Make sure you watch it. And then also, if you want to learn how you can build self-evolving AI agents with memory, watch this video. So again, this is Imtiaz, your AI dev partner, helping you build and deploy production AI systems so you can unleash the full potential of your AI agents.